Hello and welcome back to the channel. So this video could be part of the knife throwing for dummies series, and this is the second video where I am trying to answer a question, not my question, a question I have seen in a YouTube short where another thrower posted this question: which is the easiest half spin to learn, conventional rotation, military half spin, or instinctive half spin? And of course they threw and blah blah blah. Right, now I already made a video. As I said, this is second video number 2. I already made a video on this topic, on exact same question, not long ago, where I explained my views on why I think that question could have been phrased better. Now, recommend to have a look at it, even worst case scenario, just for a good laugh. It's titled "The Trick Question in Knife Throwing." I will try to link it in the description, right? But in this video, I am going to assume, right, so, okay, we are already off to a difficult start because, as we all know, assume means or makes an ASS out of you and me. But we're going to look beyond, we're going to read between the lines and all that, and have a look at the picture as a whole, okay, and make assumptions on this, right? So first big problem or hurdle right out of the gate, we are trying to compare one apple with 2 potatoes, and I will explain this in a minute. So conventional rotational half spin, doesn't matter if you're using a handshake grip, a hammer grip, a pinch grip, a thumb on the spine grip, whatever, by definition is distance or sweet spot reliant, okay? So by that fact, from the learning point of view, that is the easiest to learn out of the 3. Because once a new thrower, get themselves a decent target, a reasonable size knife, and sort out their body mechanics, arm movement, release, grip, all that, they can figure out, they can work out a sweet spot. And if they don't change anything, they keep going back to that spot, the knife will stick. There's no two-way about it, okay? Just this is what it is. But let's have a look a little bit beyond the learning. Now, conventional rotational half spin. Next step up is competition, okay? Suddenly, you can't just work out your own sweet spot. You have to work out the sweet spot for competition rules or dictated by the competition rules. Now, which means you have to change a few variables within your throw, within your knife, okay? I will not explain all this because if you're interested, Marcus Pehart has an awesome video on this, okay? He will go through detail by detail of what to do, how to do it, and what will cause what. This is just an awesome video, okay? I will try to link that too in there. So suddenly, it's not enough that you have to be, compare around. You have to work within the constraints of the competition rules. You have to be accurate too, because the guy next to you is gonna be just as accurate, if not better. So that will take a little bit more time. And then we take it up another notch. Actually, we go to the top, which is impairment arts. They use either a half spin or a full spin. Some actually use no spin, but traditionally, okay? That means the thrower has to perform in front of a live audience and be accurate enough to have the nerves of steel and the aim to be accurate enough not to impale the target person. Okay, which is actually, it's called impalement art, so it's a little bit of a funny because it should be titled not impaling art. Anyway, so that is it's not going to happen overnight. That is years and years of practice. So suddenly that's not so easy to learn, is it? Now we're going to over to the potato side. I think I call it a potato. Those two are instinctive throwing methods, okay? And by instinctive, suddenly you're changing distance, okay? If you're just standing on one spot, that's not instinctive. Now, so out of the two, so how do we do that as instinctive throwers? We have a whole variety of things that we change within our throw, okay? Variables, whole variety of variables we change, okay? Now, the reason I'm saying military half spin may be easier to learn from the learning, getting into it, because one of those variables that most military half spin, not everybody, but most military half spin throwers use is the change of depth, or choking up. Sorry, I'll try to show how. Choking up or down on the knife, okay? The further up you're on the knife, the further away can you be from the target. So if a new thrower, keeps all the body mechanics of a conventional rotational throw, just plays or changes the choke up or down on the knife, they can start to be instinctive, okay? To be fully instinctive within military half spin, you will need to use every available variables, and it's gonna take a long time or longer time to learn, okay? Now, instinctive half spin, most people uses the index finger on the spine. That's just one variable. In my limited opinion, because I just started playing with instinctive half spin about 6 weeks ago, maybe, I find it harder to isolate one single variable. It seems to be one big happy, let's call it a mush, okay? And just learning how to adjust, if I adjust this bit, what happens, seems to be a little bit more difficult or time consuming. But by the end results, I'm guesstimating it's gonna take me at least a year, but maybe even 3, to get instinctive half spin sorted, right? But to get the full benefit, again, takes years. So military half spin and instinctive half spin, to get the full benefit of the method, will take time. And I don't think either of them is easier or less effort, less time, less commitment than the other. Except for those individuals who naturally talented with one or the other, right? Maybe talent is not the best word, okay? But there are individuals among us who pick up an implement, I don't know, maybe on their hand, half spin, and they just instantly have this feel for it, okay? I can't describe it any other way, and they just pick it up and they throw it, and it works, okay? While most of us, some of us, me, both, I struggle with both equally, okay, to learn it. And then again, I mean, you have to keep reminding new throwers that it is the journey, not the destination, that matters, okay? So, yes. Now, we need to try to lift, or even, not lift is not necessary because they're not better or worse than others, but we need to even out the playing field, okay? We need to make the apple the same level as the potato, the potato the same level as the apple. I'm talking silliness again, am I? Not really, no. Instinctive knife throwing, to get real instinctive, you change distance, right? Conventional rotational half spin, you stay on one distance. So it's not really fair to compare standing on one distance and change of distance methods, right? So let's move away from the conventional rotational half spin and move into the conventional rotational realm, which is change of distance. Now, yes, it is change of distance by increment, okay? So again, from the learning point of view, it's maybe easier from the learning point of view. But then, of course, we look into competition because remember, we are looking at the full use of the method. We're not just looking halfway through, we're looking at the full use of the method. And the full use of rotational throwing is basically a competition where you throw from 2 meters, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 meters, right? Now, each distance will add an extra half rotation. So by the time you get to 7 meters, it's either 2.5 or 3 rotations. Sorry, I'm not going to work it out right now. Okay? But 7 meters is far away to get accurate from that distance. Because remember, competition, everybody's watching you. So you drop a knife, you lose that amount of points. The person next to you is good. I mean, not just good, but awesome. So here you are trying to get your best, right? So suddenly it's not that easy. Suddenly conventional rotation is not that easy because the guys who are doing it, guys who really invested in that particular method, are very accurate. So just rocking up to a competition and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna be okay because I practiced for a month, it's gonna you will have the time of your life, you know. I'm not talking about that. But you're not going to get anywhere near, you know, to be in the top, you need to put effort in. And I don't think that effort is much less. Oh, that's a really badly Englishly worded thingy. It's just about as versed as I can speak. Okay, so I don't believe the invested effort is less in conventional rotation, getting the full benefit than from military half spin or instinctive half spin to get the full benefit. And funny enough, this is the same conclusion I arrived to after I thought about it a fair bit, how the video was presented, my initial video, my video number 1, which basically said all 3 are the same difficulty. And right here, right now, I am very happily say, in my, maybe not humble, but in my limited opinion, okay, I'm nowhere near an expert. I'm only been throwing since what, 5 years maybe. This is 2025 at the moment, you know, so maybe 5 years I've been throwing. So within that time, in my acquired knowledge, I would say all 3, conventional rotation, full benefit, military half spin, full benefit, the whole lot, instinctive half spin, full benefit, the whole lot, they are equally difficult, they're equally time consuming. You have to put in the effort. You will not learn either of those overnight. But you will have fun. I mean, the whole beauty of knife throwing, you will have fun. But I don't think there is such a thing as this is so much easier to learn than others. Not from just getting into, not from just to learn, but, and I'm emphasizing this, maybe this is the 3rd or 4th time, the full benefit. If you have a different opinion, that would be great, because that would mean you put it into the comment section and we could have a discussion about it, and I could learn something which I may not have thought before, and that way I could be more knowledgeable. That would be awesome. But in any way, thanks for listening, and this is the end of the video. See you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.